Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Ball Over Passion. It's the big one. It is the big one. It is the time where you get to see George go off a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit more passion than ball, but we're here. We're ready. I hope all you guys are ready because this is a big one, especially with what's just happened with Villa and Manchester City. 14, anybody? Maybe so. But Chris, how you doing, mate? You good?
I'm doing good. Don't start that today. Like, wait till after tomorrow, then you can say that. But yeah, I'm feeling good. The football
Mm,
today was good, but
yeah,
some decisions today were crazy. Obviously, like I watched the Palace. I watch 4 games at a time, so I was watching the Palace game. 42 shots, no goals, uh, and just bad refereeing. Like there was 7 yellows in the Spurs game. Like there was a lot of bad decisions. Van
yeah.
Dijk should have got a red. Apparently, there was just a lot. Coutinho should have got a goal. Like his goal should have stood. There were a lot of weird decisions, which makes me feel like kind of weird going into tomorrow because we know what happens with the refs in these games. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
feeling
no.
good.
Exactly. Like, I mean, it's kind of mad because I think with what's going on, I joke with 14 and hey guys, how you doing? I hope everyone's good. Um, in terms of what we're gonna do, I've had a lot of debates about an approach to this kind of game because I think the context matters, right? Like when you go with it, I know we joke with the 14 and whatnot, but I think that there's going to be major pressure on Arsenal. When's the last team a team has gone 6 for 6, by the way? Um, you know, sorry, you're on mute.
It was Liverpool 1920, but before that, it was a long time.
But the one thing I will say, you go 6 for 6, you guarantee top four historically. There's not been a team that has gone 6 for 6 and not done it. And when you start to think of a win at Old Trafford and what that means, haven't won there since '07, right? When you start looking at the record though between us, we have a great record against United. I think it's what win three, two draws, and a loss in the last like six, something like that.
I think so.
Um,
We haven't really lost apart
Didn't
from
we
last.
win there in 2020?
Yeah, but it was no fans.
Yeah,
Still,
no fans. So I mean that's kind of tough. But again, like we haven't won with fans since '07, so it's been a while, and that's valid context. But look, I've had a lot of debates. Chris, even at the start, you're saying let's temper expectations, but you know what? Screw it. No, I'm not having that because at the end of the day, you got to look at things both objectively. We'll talk about some of the tactics. We'll talk about some of the battles that we need to really be keyed in on. But just factually, look, I'm a person when you want to demand what is the standard for Arsenal Football Club for everybody and fans? Let's go pure passion merchant here. What is the standard? It is a title winning team. It is a Champions League winning team. And when you come up against rivals and you come up against big teams and you come up against big games, you cannot let an opportunity go to you. You need to take it. You need to seize it. You need to go out there and get the job done. That doesn't mean that there's no possibility of you losing, no possibility of you winning, but you need to sit there and stand up and show chest. You need to be confident because if you don't approach that game with the mentality to win, you're already losing. You've already lost, and we might as well close up shop. And I hate this talk about being cautiously optimistic. No, you go in with confidence. You go in knowing what you need to do to win, and you just execute. It's really that simple. And I think a lot of this timeline has had a lot of this PTSD analysis where you're looking at the weekend and look, there's valid Old Trafford record context. There's no problem in admitting that. But come on, lads, stand up and be counted. It's a different team right now. If you want to return back to your glory days in terms of winning a Champions League, winning a Premier League, you need to go to Old Trafford and win. You have to stand up to adversity with the confidence that those teams come to compete with, and you've got to go and win. That's what it is. There's a lot of things that we can go in and say in terms of tactically what we got to do, but that is the standard. When you're talking about standards and you're talking about upholding those, that is the biggest thing that we need to do. So, um, for me, that's my little motivation speeches about getting everybody in the mood for this game because I really think this is a game that we can show the rest of the league what we're about. And when you talk about being a different team and you talk about the mentality and what is different, I'm just tired of fans that have these standards in quotation marks. And, when it comes to kind of upholding them, I see weak defenses of it. The resilience of this squad to responding to conceding first against Fulham and then individual errors between Gabriel and Saliba and their responses in game responding in 100 seconds to conceding versus Villa. Guys, this is already in a short season with 5 out of 5 wins when you've shown that the resilience of this team is different. So I'm not going in saying that this is the same team. I'm not going in or hearing that this is the same Arsenal that have gone to Old Trafford. This isn't the same Old Trafford. If you're really going to go into context, let's talk honestly about it. So um, uh, I think I can understand fans being, worried, but at the same token, you gotta front, show some chest, go there with confidence, and let's talk about tactically how we can beat them. Because I think right now all I'm seeing is narrative analysis about why you're worried.
Mm.
I'm seeing zero issues on the pitch. I'm seeing zero issues on the pitch where you can logically tell me where the battles are lost, and I can't wait to get into it. You really want to go on it, Casemiro and build up. McTominay in build up, horrible pressing triggers. We've had probably the best press in the league. When you're looking at it, Dalot, last 3 games, yellow cards, Martinelli, Fofana 2.0. Like, if you really want to go into the tactics, I can go tactics with anybody. Let's go tactics. I just really am tired of people sitting there saying that they're very much worried on us winning. I'm just tired of it. I don't know. Chris, give me your thoughts, because that's my big little spiel here.
Well, I'm confident that you know me. I'm quick to say a title shout. Quick
Mm,
to say for like third last season when everybody expected eighth. So I'm confident going into this game. But like you'll see in the predictions later what we think of the game. Oh god. I don't know why you needed to bring that up, but yeah, tactically they haven't been good. Leicester were very poor against them, but still had their chances. Um, Malacia has made a lot of tackles, but he's been very rash. Like Martinez hasn't been good on build up. Like I said to you yesterday, he'll be the biggest pressing trigger simply because he doesn't want the ball. Um, he had 20 less touches than everyone in the back four versus Leicester. Like he does not want to touch the ball and build up. And if we can force him to touch the ball, then I think we'll have something there. And our press on our right hand side has been just as good as the left, especially with
hmm
um, Jesus being flexible to the left and the right. So I think our press will be very good again tomorrow. We're now the team that has been on the losing side, the least in the league, now considering Fulham lost. So and we've been very resilient. Even if we concede first, I trust us to score quickly. I don't think we will, but I trust us to score quickly. But yeah, the narrative and the records point against us. But the narratives and record pointed against us winning 5 games in a row. Like we've done it once
Yeah.
in Premier League history. So I think obviously narrative means something, but it's to a certain extent. Both teams are very different to the teams that have faced each other in the past 15 years or whatever.
Well, what do you think are the key battles, Chris? Because I think you bring up a good point. If you're going to look at narrative-wise, Arsenal have no right going 5 for 5, let alone 6 for 6. And so,
Mm.
if you're going to go into narrative about going into the negatives about it, you got to go into the positive narrative. But that's beyond the point. I think going tactically, like again, I bring up Casemiro coming in. It's horrible during build-up. Madrid used to invert him, put him in the 10, and have Cruz and Modric come in to
Yeah.
build up. Now they've got McTominay that seems to be the center pivot. And when you talk about a press, by the way, especially when you look at Villa. Let's go back, look at Villa and what Odegaard was able to do. I know you've seen issues. Odegaard's training, he's fine, guys. Seriously, he will play. And if not, by the way, I actually think ESR is probably more better for this type of game. But regardless, whoever's there, we will sit somebody on their DM, and they have somebody that is poor in build-up, that is poor under a press. That's going to be the huge thing, because when you're facing Arsenal, who are the best pressers in the league, you need to find a solution for that. And I don't know if Manchester United's back line is able to do it. You start looking at Martinez, see what Jesus did to Mings. That's a key battle that's going to be lost. When you look
Mm.
at it, Dalot, 3 yellow cards. I said it in his previous 3 games. Martinelli's been in unbelievable form. I see a Fofana 2.0 happening. He's going to isolate Dalot. It's going to happen. You start looking at the back, by the way, in terms of their one transition threat that you can say Manchester United always have. And the one player that does fear for me is Rashford. I'm not really fearful of their other forwards. It's only Rashford for me, and it's that ball over the top, because Eric Ten Hag right now, they're a team in transition. They're us 1920 season. That's where they are at right now. So they're going to be poor in build up, but they're going to be compact, and they're going to look for transition moments. That's what it is, a ball over the top, and that is their big key. But then we've got William Saliba, Gabriel, and we've got White. Now, those three have been absolutely immense in controlling the high line and controlling forwards. So for me, I'm really struggling to beyond a lucky break or beyond, you know, a kind of a referee decision, really see tactically where Manchester United can hurt this Arsenal team, because the things that Manchester United are good at, Arsenal are great at. The things that they're good at in terms of trying to hurt teams are our best defensive weapons. We have the best defense in the league. If you're going to sit there and you're going to be worried about transitions, you need to start looking at who is in the back there controlling those transitions.
For going into tomorrow, do you think we can afford to be as wasteful as we have been? Because there's been a lot of times where we've had a lot of shots, 15 plus shots, but consistently we get into the second half and we only have one
Yeah.
goal. So do you think we can afford to, at Old Trafford, like even go down or be equal as 1-1? Do you think that will affect how we play?
I think that regardless, whenever you get a goal in a big derby setting, you're never in control. So even getting a quick goal for me, it never means that you're in control. You're always in this perceived aspect of you know the game's on the line. Whether you're 2-1, 3-1 up, even anything can happen. So for me, I don't use it as something that I'm worried about, but I'd like to see us be killers. It's not a case of I'd like to see us go into a half 15 shots up and it still be 0-0 or 1-1. Like, I'm going to sit there be saying we should have killed this game off early. And I think that's important. Like, the one thing that I do want to see is, do you remember that season where we basically did United as well as Chelsea at home? And in the first half, killed it within 15 minutes back when Alexis Ozil ripped them apart. I want to see something like that. That would be ideal. Last year, what happened with Tottenham at our ground, that would be ideal. A first half like that, of course, you would love it. But again, Jesus bullying Tyrion Lannister. I think, Gabriel Martinelli onto Dello. It's going to be fun. Casemiro and McTominay being pressed in build up in terms of our own press. By the way, Granit Xhaka, monster class versus Aston Villa. It's going to happen again. Those off the ball runs, they're going to dictate. And so, yeah, look, for me, it's going to be huge. I'm really, really happy. The only reason I'm kind of speaking really quick is because, unfortunately, guys, I got to go. I'm going to hand it over to Chris kind of in current
I
because
think you should say your prediction before you go.
100%. That's what I was leaning into it. So look, guys, I hope I've tried to give some tactics. I've tried to give some, passionate speeches. But look, it's been a while. But the predictions, they are here for you. For me, 3-1. I'll let Chris and Kern kind of explain their thoughts on it. The one thing I will say is this match is going to bring goals, big goals, and I think that it's going to be played on emotion. And by the way, for a young team that's been playing on emotion, it's been excellent. And yeah, you know what it is, Haas. Fresh trim for the fresh win, and we're going to go 6 for 6. And look, we're going to make a statement and build some points up. I'm very, very confident in that. I think that all of the underlying stats absolutely favor us. I think all of the tactical battles favor us. But ultimately, the biggest thing that you got to look at in this game is playing our game. I think the press is going to decide this game, Chris, ultimately. I think it's the weakest part of Manchester United right now, and it's the best part of Arsenal. So if we don't do that, we don't press well, we won't have joy. And then you play their game, and it's a transition game. So, guys, let's do that. I'm going to have to sign off, but I'm going to pass it over the very capable hands of Chris and Curran. So, boys, come on. Let's get some chest, and let's go. Seriously, enough of this crap. We are the Arsenal. Let's act like it. All right?
Yeah. Well, George
See
is
you later,
very
boy.
sure. George is very sure of a win. He thinks 3-2. He's
No,
very
he said
confident.
3-1. I
3-1.
said
Sorry,
3-2.
you
Yeah.
said 3-2. Yeah, he's very confident. He always is confident, and I agree. The press is something we can use to take advantage of Man United, because they haven't been as good in build up as certain clips seem like. There's been a clip of them popping the ball around Leicester, and Leicester have been very poor press with Vardy and stuff. But you haven't spoken much, Karen. What do you make of the game, and how do you think we can exploit them, and vice versa?
I mean, I'll start with them. It's quite clear from what they did against Liverpool, their game's going to probably be based on transitions, and they're going to try and basically, because our block is quite compact and we do keep quite a high line, they're going to try and hit those wide areas and transition and just run at us. I see them starting Rashford and Sancho probably, or I don't think Anthony starts, but it will be Rashford and Sancho, I reckon, and Rashford on the left, and they'll try that. Either Lissandro trying to hook it to him on that side, or Ilanga maybe on the right. But I see them trying to run. I think they're going to run. I don't think they're going to be this, like you were talking about the Leicester game and that little passage of play. I mean, I'm not calling it a pattern because it's basically a glorified rondo. It's just like they just basically tapped it around a couple of times, and it wasn't a specific, like there was no off the ball movement that you could see that has been trained in and um, been implemented there. It was just basically tap, 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 and get the ball up the pitch as quickly as possible. Where we can exploit them, um, I think they have three main pressing triggers. Personally, I think they have Rafa Varane. I think can be got at. I mean, Jesus has shown in the past when he's played against Madrid, he can quite easily press the hell out of him. They have McTominay and they have Casemiro. I think those are three big pressing triggers we can exploit. I think we can. I mean, personally, I was gonna ask both of you this, but I think George had to go. But like, I want to see like Gabby and ironically Gabby, but Jesus and Martinelli interchange a lot. I want to see Gabby coming over to the left and trying to, because you know how good he is in the air. I think trying to pin him on Lisandro and trying to get knockdowns. So yeah, I think that and I'll answer this in terms of their pressing. Look, it's very different going up against a team in Bangkok and a team in the Premier League. They played Liverpool's third team. I think they played a couple of games. I mean, it's very difficult to he was just trying to, I think Ten Hag was trying to gauge what level this squad is at and how to best set them up for the league and for the challenges ahead. So to say it's the reason why it's non-existent is they don't have the personnel. I don't think Sancho's a great presser personally. I don't think they have, as an example, Ronaldo's obviously not a great presser. Martial's injured. Rashford is a good presser, but I think the main thing for me is that it's basically you're looking at a team that are trying to figure out how they want to play, and at this moment, with the personnel he's figured out, okay, I have to play in transition. That's how this squad is built, and that's what I'm going to have to do. So I think,
on this, I think the difference is that Rashford really was on the left wing. Martial was striker the whole of pre-season, and then the first game comes and Martial's injured, so they immediately have to adapt. And Rashford's playing striker, a different role for him. He's been decent in the role. He's learning. He's doing some different stuff, something similar to what he used to do when he was the Rashford that everyone knew and loved. But I think the press has been not as good simply because they don't have the greatest pressers, and the players that are playing in their roles are playing in different roles than they were in pre-season. Like Ericsson is a lot deeper than he was the first game, and in pre-season, Rashford has moved up top. Sancho has been on the left wing. Like they're all playing in different positions than they were in pre-season. So it's a different. So players are fulfilling different roles of the structure, but I think eventually it will be a decent to good press, simply because they have some PMP in their attack. But and what have you made of who do you think is going to be their biggest threat?
I agree with George. I agree with George on this. Is Rashford? I think running in behind. I think he's going to provide a threat. I think we're going to have to deal with him. I think the good thing is he will have. We'll have Gabriel on his side. I mean, or Saliba, probably Saliba actually, because he'll probably play Sancho on the right. The thing is, he's a very, very good transition defender. He's not someone that will get caught in transition a lot. He'll make those recovery tackles easy. So I think that's a very good thing. I think in disguise, I mean, obviously I wish he comes back soon, but in disguise, this could be the perfect game for Tomiyasu because of his ability in transition. He's one of our best transition defenders, and obviously also provides an aerial threat as well. He's someone that we can look at as well. And obviously, we've heard the news about Zinchenko traveling.
Do you think he comes back in?
Who?
Zinchenko. Do you think he starts?
I wouldn't personally. Like personally, if it was me, it's just that I think that their biggest threat in terms of one-on-one isolation attack is Sancho, and I want my best defensive left back on that. The only counterpoint, if their press was better and their press was more adapt, then I would say, okay, go with Zinchenko because we need to play out we need to have that security in the three. But because the situation, the opposition is how it is, I would start Tierney. Will he start Zinchenko? I don't know, but you know what he's like. He's never wanted to change a winning formula.
So would you make any changes from Villa?
I don't know about White's fitness, but if White's fit, then no. If White isn't fit, then Tomiyasu comes in.
Because personally, for me, I would have played a Mill Rats in the mid because I feel like we need to guarantee presence away from home. And if Odegaard can do it, then fair enough. But we haven't seen enough evidence of him performing consistently.
This is true. It's true, actually. Yeah. No, I
I
wouldn't
feel
mind
like
having
Emil would
Emil,
add
yeah.
enough. He would add enough thrust consistently.
Yeah.
But yeah, we assume there's not going to be change. Arteta does not change unless he's forced to, which is a issue in itself. But before we go, we're going to look at the predictions again. Obviously, George is a 3-1. You're a 3-2. Why have you gone with a 3-2?
I just think that there's games in this games. There's games in this goal. There's goals in this game. I think there's like I feel like it's going to be like a Leicester kind of vibe where like they hit one, we hit back, they hit one, we hit back straight away kind of thing. I think it's not going to be. The only issue I have is, can we do what we did against Leicester away from home? That's going to be the biggest our talking point of this game. If we can do that, I think we'll be fine. I do think they score. I don't know if we can score immediately, but I do feel like the game is going to be played mostly in the field tilt will be in our favor. I think we're going to be playing a lot more in their half, especially if they score early. If they score early, then we're just going to camp. They're not going to try and come at us. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, what do you make of it?
I think it's going to be 2-1. I've been feeling that score for weeks against United. I always think both teams score in this game, and rarely do we get the clean sheet. Obviously, we got two nils in a row when Xhaka scored, and then the one where we ended it in the first half. But that was at our ground, and at their ground, we both consistently score. I don't think we get 3 just because I don't think we'll be clinical enough, and I don't think they can score 2 against our defense. So that's why I think we win 2-1. I always think both teams will score. I would love a clean sheet, but this time I'm sure my prediction is a 2-1. But yeah, we'll be back on Monday, I think. Monday to review the game. Hopefully we win 6 for 6. Join a group of 6 teams that have done it, not just 11. But yeah, thank you for watching. I know George left earlier, but he'll say the same thing. Thank you for watching. Check out everybody on Twitter. For me, CK Football. George V_AFC, and you can check out Karen at Karen BoP. Obviously on Twitter, well, BoP Footy. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully we get the win. Please like, comment, and share the video, and we'll see you on Monday. Peace.
Peace.